over the place as
We
far as our
are
forecast
indeed.
goes.
And rainy days and Mondays, they go hand
They
in
go
hand.
together.
All right. Well, if you should lose your marbles, Steve Harden knows where you can find more.
She stole my thunder. I was going to say I lost my marbles, but this guy's making more for me.
Thank goodness.
We are talking about marble making, and we are talking to a gentleman who is doing a little bit of marble making, and we're going to talk a little bit about marble collecting. It's coming up with News 7 Morning Returns. Flame and glass, and how two different artists use them to make wonderful things. One gentleman makes marbles. His name is Junior Stoots. I asked him to tell me a little bit about the process.
Well, it's mostly eye appeal. You know, the colors, the patterns of the marbles. Marbles kind of remind people of their childhood, which, you know, for some were better days. And many people played marble games and competed in championships. And so it's kind of got a sentimental collectible factor there.
In collectability, as far as value, what are you looking for in an old-fashioned collectible marble?
Just rarity, pattern, color, just the same as the contemporary marbles that are made today.
When you talk about marbles made today, you do a little bit about that. Tell me about your hobby.
Yeah, I've just recently gotten into making what they call torch marbles, which is sitting down in front of a torch with a couple of rods of glass and swirling some glass together, putting it in a mold and making it round.
I look at these different designs. Are they happen chance, or do you have a pattern in mind?
Both. Some are just what you call just a swirl. Some you try to get some patterns to it. You can actually even do pictures and add little figurines into marbles, such as little statues.
Walk me through the process.
Well, for what I do, as I said, I make torch marbles. I start out with two rods of Moretti glass and in front of a torch, and just start swirling some colors together and get a fairly large, what they call a gather, which in layman's terms, just a glob of glass on the end of the rods. And I use wooden molds, of all things, which is kind of out of the ordinary, but they're made of cherry wood, and I soak them in water, and that way when I dip the hot glass into the molds to swirl it to make it round, the glass, the heat of the glass turns the water into steam, which in turn polishes the glass.
Once you get this process started, can you stop and go back to it?
No, you can't, because the glass, basically what you're doing, you're working it from one form into another, and as it cools, it creates a lot of stress within that glass. So when you start in the torch, you have to stay there until it's finished. If you take it out of the flame, your marble or whatever you're working on is just going to burst into pieces. Once a marble is complete, as far as getting it round, smooth, getting the patterns that I want, then we have to put it in a annealing kiln at about 950 degrees. We put it in the kiln, you let it sit there for about 10 to 20 minutes, then you cut the kiln off and you leave the marbles or the beads, whatever you're working on, inside there, and it has to gradually cool down over probably a 10 to 12 hour period.
What are you looking for when you make a marble? When do you get to a point and say, man, that's it, I like what I've got?
It's simple, when it's round.
About as simple as it gets. Marble's round, time to quit. Anyway, coming up in a few moments, we're going to introduce you to another man who combines glass and flame to make decorative art. That's when News 7 Morning returns.